we have been overspending on our budget for a while. The weekends are such a massive spending trigger for us. Huge. It's gotten out of hand. I am so time poor, it is ridiculous. Hi guys, I hope you're good. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new vlog. I'm Lee from Mortgage Free Lee. I talk about money and mum life on the internet. And today I'm going to be talking about why I'm doing a low spend month and also kind of just maybe taking you along on the day with me. The backstory to this is that we are on a budget and we have been ever since I had a baby back in 2019 because obviously I was on maternity pay. At some point I was on unpaid leave. I took the whole 12 months. So that's when I learned to budget and that's where my whole sort of love affair with budgeting started. However, fast forward to 2022 and I had another baby. Maternity leave was fine, I budgeted and planned for that. But then, after maternity leave has ended and I've gone back to work, we have been overspending on our budget for a while now, to be honest. And honestly, a lot of the reason is the lack of mental space that comes with having two young children. I just struggle to think straight when there's so much going on. It's so overstimulating having two young kids. There's so much noise, there's so much mess. Literally, me and my husband cannot hold a conversation. If I try to speak to him, my daughter will urgently think of something she needs to tell me, and that's fine, it's cute, whatever. But it's very difficult to then find the mental space to concentrate on a task. Like, we have taken them to Tesco a couple of times to try and get a few bits of shopping, and we've ended up making mistakes. Like, we once bought some raspberries that were pretty much rotten because we just couldn't concentrate. The kids were acting up, they were being crazy, and it was impossible to concentrate on what was going on in the shop. So I feel like the lack of mental space is a massive factor in why we've been going over budget, and lack of ability to plan ahead. We just struggle for time. I am so time poor, it is ridiculous. I obviously have two kids, I have a house to run, I have myself to feed, I have the family to feed, not just me, obviously my husband gets involved, but I also work 3 days a week at quite an intense job, and then I run a business, aka content creation, and it's a lot. I think most working parents can sympathise with the lack of time. It feels like we get up at the crack of dawn, we go to work, we parent hard, we try and get the kids in bed, then we have maybe an hour in which we have to eat, watch TV, speak to each other, relax, do any of the life admin that needs doing, and then it's bedtime, and then we're going to do it all over again, which also doesn't take into account the number of times that we're still up during the night because my family is still disrupted sleepers. So yeah, I feel like that's a good part of the reason why we haven't been sticking to our budget. I'm talking to you whilst I'm making toast. And another thing is, as I've mentioned before, going back to work is when I find my mental health can take a little bit of a dip after having a baby. And you know, our mental health affects everything, including our spending. We spend when we're happy, we spend when we're sad. So I feel like that definitely hasn't helped either. So I don't want to misrepresent the situation. Financially, our big picture is good. It's great, in fact. We've just gone under £100,000 left to pay on our mortgage because we've been overpaying. I haven't really spoken about that on here yet, but I will speak about it in another video. Big picture wise, everything is great. Day to day, not good. We need to sort it out. Otherwise, we're going to get ourselves into a mess. So that's what we're doing. Another catalyst for this is that we've just had to have a fence installed because we've tried to put our fence back up a couple of times at the back. It keeps blowing down with the wind. We live in quite a windy area, and it's blown down a few times. It's the fence that was put in when we moved here like 10 years ago. And it's blown down a few times and it got to the point where we just couldn't replace it. And basically it needed concrete breaking in order to get the fence posts in deep enough, which is just not something me or my husband have the skills, time or inclination to do. So we've had to get some fencing guys in. They've been amazing, but it's very expensive. I never realised how expensive it was to get a fence done. So we've had that done this month, which means I'm going to get the bill for that very soon. And that again is another good reason why we need to get back on top of our budget, rebuild our savings, because this fence is basically going to take out our easy access savings. We have emergency fund and all that good stuff, but it's going to take out our easy access savings. So we need to rebuild that, which means we need to save some money. So the plan is a low spend month. Now I started this on Monday, which was the day before I got paid, and it's gone well so far. So I think on Monday I spent £2, and that was on a low cost baby group for my son. Now considering I had the whole day off with my son, I think that's pretty good going. So I spent £2 on Monday. On Tuesday, I did our ALDI weekly shop. Now, if you've seen my videos before, you will know that our weekly shop and our food budget has always been a struggle and a battle for me. I managed to spend £80.16. I have got the video of the ALDI shop up. I will put the link in the description box so that you can go and watch that one if you want to. But £80.16 I spent. That was the only thing we spent that day. Wednesday, my husband had to get petrol for one of our cars, which has been on like the last bar since Monday. That was £40 and 2p. Isn't that annoying when you like can't get it to like £40.00? So £40 and 2p. I also spent £4 on the brew fund at work, like AKA the tea and coffee fund. So somebody brings in tea and coffee, we pay towards it, so that funds that. It's so much easier than having to cart milk back and forth every day. It's definitely worth £1 a week. That was £44 and 2p. I also made a little order on H&M. One thing I've been concerned about with this low spend month is we're going on holiday in around a month's time. And my kids need some summer clothes. But I saw that H&M had a sale on, and they have like these dresses that are literally like £2 each. Now, I know some people think H&M is fast fashion. What I will say is my opinion on fast fashion is that it's partly down to the user and their attitude towards it. So I have some pieces from H&M that I have had for years, and I actually really like H&M. And I will keep my stuff from H&M for as long as possible. Now, obviously, my kids are growing. They are not going to fit in this stuff for long, but I'm pretty sure that at the end of our use of it, it will be perfectly fine to donate onto somebody else. I always donate as much stuff as I can, whether it's locally to the charity shop or to the textiles recycling. So I'm quite happy and comfortable with the fact that we're going to buy low cost from H&M on this occasion. So I think I've managed to get like 5 dresses and 2 tops for like £18, which is insane. But I feel like £18 has probably sorted out most of my daughter's needs, but I've still got my son to sort. So I need to figure out a cheap way to kit him out for the summer holiday, because he really doesn't have enough stuff for a summer holiday, mainly because we're not really having a whole lot of sun in the UK right now. So the only non-essential spend was £2 on the baby club and £18 on my daughter's summer clothes, although technically it is essential because she needs some clothes to go on holiday with, because she just doesn't have the right stuff. I haven't really needed to buy her much clothes this year because she has clothes. I tend to buy her clothes in the largest sizes that I can get away with, basically, so they'll last her for longer. And since she started school, the way she wears clothing is completely different, because obviously pre-going to school, she was wearing her clothes all day, every day, absolutely trashing them, and they just wouldn't last very long, whereas now she only wears them on the weekend or occasionally after school, and it's just lasting so much longer. And it's something I definitely need to bear in mind next year when I'm buying her clothing. Yesterday was Thursday, I was working, I spent absolutely nothing. My husband spent nothing as well, so that was good. That was a complete no spend day. Today is Friday. Fridays is like my business day, so I work on my business whilst my daughter is in school, only within the short school day, so it really is not a long day. What I tend to end up doing is be in a coffee shop, get lunch out, go get some bits and bobs, and I'm trying to be really conscious of that spending and that unnecessary spending. So first up, I already left the house once and didn't plan on coming back, but I came back because I realized I hadn't had breakfast and I don't want to pay for breakfast out, so toast it is. I have enough credit on an old gift card to go and get a coffee, which is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to work from the coffee shop. I also think I might nip to Waitrose. I hardly ever go to Waitrose, but do you remember in a few videos back when I got those magnesium-like functional drinks? I can possibly get some of those really cheap, so I might go to Waitrose and see if I can get some drinks really cheap with a cashback offer. If I do, I'll explain all about that at the time. Because I did our shop, but what I do really like to have in, and it is kind of a non-negotiable for me now, is nice drinks that I enjoy, to have one in an evening instead of drinking alcohol. So I feel like I need that like nice little sort of special treat drink to replace alcohol, and make me sort of, it's one of those little pleasures in life that I'm just not willing to give up. Do you know what I mean? I've got a bit of kombucha left from a previous order that I made at Holland & Barrett, where I bought like 3 packs in one go because that was the offer. And I've still got one of the packs of magnesium drinks and a couple of other drinks left in the fridge. So I'm good for right now, but if I can get some for cheap, that's what I might do. I also still would like to ideally get lunch out, and I've seen an offer for Taco Bell UK that might work. I might be able to get a really cheap lunch out. I might try to take advantage of that offer as well. So that's the plan. I'm also, when I pick my daughter up from school, I take her to McDonald's on a Friday. It's like our little mummy-daughter date. So I take her to McDonald's on a Friday before we pick my son up from nursery. So it's just me and her. And obviously, I'm not going to compromise that. That is a non-negotiable for me. I don't know if this is going to be a one-day vlog or it might be a few days. In fact, I might take you along for the whole weekend and just see how we get on, because I feel like Friday into the weekend, that is the big, like, hotspot trigger time for spending. So I might take you along for the whole weekend and see how we get on with our spending in the first weekend of our low spend month. Okay, I've risked it. I've come to Waitrose to see if I can pick up any of these drinks. It might be a wasted journey. Let's hope it's not.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights.
Okay, that was a total success. They had everything that I wanted. So I went in to get some of those magnesium drinks because they're on try for £1 on GREENJINN. So you get 4 drinks for £1. Like, you have to pay up front, then you get the cash back once it's authorised. Got 2 packs of those. I got a variety pack and a raspberry and lemon, was it raspberry and lemon balm? Raspberry and lemon balm flavour. Now, when I first had these, I'm going to admit I wasn't keen on the flavour, but it's grown on me and now I'm quite like it. And also, for that amount of money, you just can't complain, can you? 25p a can. It's a nice drink. I feel like it's a nice replacement for alcohol in the evening. So £1 for a 4-pack twice, because I got 2 different packs. Then they had another type of functional drink on that was called Humble Warrior, and it seems to be like an immunity type drink, so I thought I'd give that one a go. Again, £1 for 4 drinks, so 25p a can. They also had Remedy kombucha on. I love Remedy kombucha. I love kombucha. It's definitely a love it or hate it thing. I love it and I love Remedy. I think it was a coupon for £2 off, and then it was on offer in Waitrose at £4.50, which means that I got a 4-pack of Remedy for £2.50 after cashback, which is insane because it can cost up to like £7 for a pack. £5.50, £7. It's pretty normal for a pack of Remedy kombucha. So I am thrilled with that. I also got 3 beers. Now, we are trying not to drink so much at home, but on the occasion that we need some beers in, we're going somewhere, whatever, I got these beers because they were 50p per can. So I got them for my husband. It was £1.50 for 3. They were £2.50 each. So obviously I've got all 3 for less than the cost of one. So it cost me £32 in the store. However, I should get quite a lot of that back. Let me figure out how much I'll get back. So I've just done some quick maths. It's not my forte, but it will have cost me about £9.50 for £32 worth of drinks. So I'm really pleased with that. Is it an absolutely necessary spend? No. Is it something that I really enjoy, that I think is valuable to my life, to have like nice drinks, a little bit of pleasure, a small pleasure in life? We've really got to take those small pleasures where we can, haven't we? I think for £9.50 instead of £32, it's 100% a good deal and works out with the low spend. I've made the effort, made the trip to make this a low spend treat. So I'm pleased with that. But I have not had a coffee yet this morning and I need one. So let's go to the coffee shop. I plan to use my leftover credit off a gift card and a discount that I have, which gets, I think, 10% or 20, maybe it's 10% off. I'm not sure, but it takes the price down significantly. So I'm going to use that and hopefully get a free coffee. Hey guys, we're back. It's been a completely successful morning considering I've been out since about 9 a.m. and it's now like coming up to 1 o'clock. I have been to Waitrose, got that amazing haul of drinks. I've already had the cashback approved on the GREENJINN app. I will pop the link for GREENJINN in the description box. It will be an affiliate link. I'm not even sure, frankly, if I get any sort of money or anything back, but I'll pop it in there anyway. Yeah, it was £23.45 that I got refunded off a £32 spend. So I've paid out of pocket even less than I even thought, because the beers were on a 3 for something deal. I don't know what it was, a 3 for what, but they were on some kind of deal. So I've actually spent, I think it's like £8 something on all the drinks, which is crazy. Then I went to the coffee shop where I parked up for like a couple of hours. I got my drink, I used my discount, I used my leftover credit, so that cost me nothing out of pocket. I also ordered a water because firstly, I frankly need to drink more water, but secondly, obviously then I've got a drink to drink and I can keep it going for longer. The staff in there really don't mind, to be honest. Half of the cafe was full of people working. Yeah, so they don't care. I was in there for 2 hours, didn't spend a penny, so that was great. Then I've just been to Taco Bell. Now, I am not the biggest fan of Taco Bell UK. I don't know if the Americans are getting something different in their Taco Bell than we are over here, but frankly, I think the veggie and vegan options are garbage. All they have is black beans. They don't have like a meat replacement. I'm sure the first time I went there was a meat replacement. They don't seem to have that now. And all you can get is black beans, not even veg. Like, I am a fan of a just full veg, just pack it all in there burrito. And I love burritos and Mexican food. So yeah, I just think that the veggie and vegan options are garbage. But this was an offer that I saw someone on Instagram share, and it was a free cravings burrito, which they had a black bean veggie option. They're only $1.99 anyway, but it was free if you spent £1. So I ordered the cheapest thing I could see, which was £1.69 chips. The one thing I am happy to pay for at Taco Bell is the fries. I think their fries are really nice. So £1.69 for some fries and nacho sauce, and then I got a free burrito with it. So essentially, I've got a whole lunch for £1.69. So I feel like that's a good option. It gives me the feeling of having like a little treat, having a little treat lunch without having to cook it or pay very much for it. It's cheaper than a meal deal, literally half the price of most meal deals these days. So I'm very happy with that. Oh, I also had to get petrol. So I put £40 worth of petrol in the car that I was in. That's the other car, not the one that my husband filled up the other day. So it is what it is. What can you do? We need petrol to get about. We live semi-rural, so walking everywhere is just not really an option. So I'm gonna go eat my burrito and I'll catch up with you in a bit. Hi guys, I hope you're good. I did not vlog yesterday, which was Saturday, partly because I had my first counselling therapy session of this set. I've had it before, but I'm having it again. So I had that on Thursday, and as a result of that, I kind of want to be a little bit more intentional with how I'm spending my time and just being a bit more present and stuff. So I didn't vlog yesterday. However, here's the update. You were with me on Friday when we went to Waitrose. I went to Taco Bell for lunch. I was in the coffee shop. I went to McDonald's with my daughter and also got petrol, which sounds like it should have been an expensive day, but I actually spent just under £55. Now, £40 of that was petrol and £8.55 after cashback was the drinks. So it was only just over £5 for Taco Bell and McDonald's for my daughter, which I feel like is really good. I'm not on a no spend here. I'm just on a lower spend. I'm trying to be way more conscious and way more intentional of my spending. Not spending money on things that don't matter or don't really add value. So I feel like that went well. Yesterday went really well. The weekends are such a massive spending trigger for us. Huge. Last weekend, we spent £25 in Costa before noon. This is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to poor planning, and also not just poor planning, but just giving in to all the kids' demands. Now, I love being able to treat my kids. I love being able to give them things that I wouldn't have had. I love it. I'm so soft when it comes to my kids. I want to make them happy. But honestly, I feel like I've been doing that a little bit too much through money and spending. And I really kind of want to move away from that and also encourage my daughter in particular. Obviously, my son's too young to really be part of this, but encourage my daughter to think differently about how we spend our time as well. Not just me, but her too. So this weekend we did things differently. So we went to swimming lessons, which were already prepaid for as part of our regular bills. So that's not coming under this spending, because this spending is our variable spending. So we'd already paid for swimming. Now, we had a birthday party at 12. Usually after swimming we'll go to town, which is where we end up spending money, in Costa, the coffee shop, wherever. But on this occasion, we had a party at 12. So instead of going to town, we went straight home, let the kids play in the garden. Me and my husband had lunch at home. Now, it was an early lunch, but what I was thinking is I'm going to be at this party from 12 till 2. I'm going to be starving. I don't want to end up buying food, buying drinks at the party that I don't need to spend, that I don't really want to spend, but would just be spending out of convenience or lack of planning. So I had an early lunch. My daughter was obviously going to eat at the party. My son had his lunch at home. My husband had his lunch at home. Lunch out is one of those things that will get us every time. So we made sure we had lunch at home. We went to the party. I'd already bought the party gift before this low spend challenge. However, it was a pretty thrifty one. I went to Asda and they had craft kits, but they were 2 for £10. So I got an air dry clay one and a loom band set for £10. So I used one of those for the party, which I thought was great because my daughter has the same gift. Someone bought it us for a party and I thought it was really good fun and she likes it. So it was a pretty good gift for just £5, but I didn't have to spend that out of this budget because I already bought it before we started the low spend challenge. And then we'd planned basically to go to the park, get out to town, go to the park. I also wanted to have a look in the charity shop because my son has just suddenly become digger obsessed. And I want to have a look for a little digger in there. So I didn't find one, but I did let my daughter have a look in the charity shop, and we spent £6.99 on a cat that moves. And the cat is not in the back of the car right now, but she's thrilled with it. Like, we've just brought it out with us now to climb in. So this cat that moves, and also a Build-A-Bear outfit. They're quite pricey. We put them on our Build-A-Bear and also on our Annabelle doll, which I think I've spoken about before. She loves it, absolutely loves it, like well worth the money that we spent on it. The only other thing that we bought yesterday, apart from £6.99 in the charity shop, the only other thing that we spent yesterday was £5.99 on some air fryer liners. But my husband had £5 Amazon credit, so he actually only spent 99p out of pocket for those. Those have been on our to buy list forever. I'd asked him to get some previously, but he got like the paper ones, which are great, but I wanted the reusable ones so we don't have to keep paying for them, and also so it's not like continual waste and recycling. So we got some of those reusable air fryer liners. That was like a really intentional purchase because that has been on our list for a while. So the total spend for yesterday was £7.98 out of pocket, which is bonkers considering, like I said, the previous weekend we spent £25 in Costa before noon. So I am so pleased with how that's gone. Today, we have been up early this morning. We've all had breakfast at home. So no McDonald's breakfast, no like treat breakfast. We used the corn sausages that I bought in the ALDI shop. If you've seen that video, again, it'll be linked in the description box. We got the eggs. My kids have made scrambled egg again. Some of you have messaged me about toddler towers. So thanks for that, because I think we might need to look into that, because it's literally like, yeah, it's not the best and being stood on chairs, certainly not the baby anyway. Now we're at climbing with one of our friends. So my daughter's been having a bit of a rough time with the politics of friendships when you're 5. So, you know, no one's done anything wrong. It's just kids, you know. One day they're best friends with one person, the next day they're best friends with somebody else. And they haven't really figured out that you can all play together. My daughter included, she's, you know, equally involved in this situation. She's been having a bit of a rough time with that. So I really want to start encouraging some one-on-one time with some of our like real good friends. And one of our real good friends is someone she went to nursery with, but she doesn't go to school with. But they were best friends literally since the age of like 1.5. Still see each other and they still get on now. So we've come out to meet them. We've come to a local climbing wall. Now, it would have cost £10 for my daughter to climb. It doesn't cost anything for my son, but we've paid for our friend as well. So we spent £20 on climbing, which is pricey, but I feel like this is where the intentional spending comes in. I do not have an issue with spending money on my children to do physical activity. It's not screen time. It's enjoying time with their friends. It's learning a new skill. She loves climbing. She's really good at it too, considering she's like 5. And I just think this really aligns with how I want my life to be. I want to spend more time and more money and more effort on the things that I want and the things that are going to make my life the way I want it to be. And this is how I want life to be. I want my kids to be climbing. I want us to be doing activities. I want us to be hanging out with our friends. So spending £20 on climbing is pricey, but definitely acceptable and definitely worth it. So far today, that's all we spent. I don't know what the plan is for the rest of the day. I know we need to buy some milk, but other than that, we have not set foot back in a supermarket since I did that shop, and it's almost been a full week. So I am absolutely thrilled, because I don't think we've stuck to a food budget like this for ages, but we've just been so intentional. Like, me and my husband are both on board, and it's just really working out really well. I want to clean up like the area outside the back of our house. So we have a communal garden outside the back of our back door, and then we have a separate garden. But our communal garden, like our little bit out the back of our house, needs sorting out. I need to clean out the kids' sand and water table. I need to tidy up some stuff. I think I mentioned in the kitchen clean video that I have like a storage bench out there and the stuff that's rusted in there. So we might do that, because that's obviously something we can do at home. It doesn't cost anything, but that's not going to take up the whole afternoon. So I don't know quite what we're going to do. Honestly, we often end up at a park. I feel like we've been at every single park around here. So maybe we need to find some new parks. But yeah, I feel we'll probably end up at a park at some point, because it's just classic. I mean, it's quite warm, but it's also a little bit overcast. So we'll see how the weather does, but I'll pick it back up with you at the end of the weekend. almost over and I'm just checking in to let you know how the rest of Sunday went. So aside from the climbing, which I mentioned was £20, the only other thing we spent was £10.92 in Tesco, which means we actually stuck to our £100 weekly food shop budget. I cannot believe it. It's got to be the first time in a long time that has happened. And we also spent £8.99 ordering some new replacement toothbrush heads off Amazon, which again has been on our list for much longer than I'd like to admit. So that was definitely an intentional purchase. The amount of money and the difference in the amount of money that we spent that weekend was crazy, considering what we have spent in previous weekends and what we spend when we're not being really intentional and really focused on trying not to spend unnecessary money or money that doesn't add value. So it's definitely been a worthwhile exercise so far. I'm going to carry on. It's going to be a low spend month, but this was a recap of our low spend weekend. Let me know what you think. Do you need a bit of a financial reset? Do you need to rein it back in? Where have you been spending that hasn't really been adding value? Like, the coffee shops have eaten so much of my money lately. It has been unnecessary. It's gotten out of hand. So I feel like getting back on track with this low spend month was much needed. And I'm really excited to see how we come out of it at the end. If we can finally rein back in our budget. I'm Lee from Mortgage Freely. I talk about money and mum life on the internet. Please do drop me a comment. Please do get involved in the chat. You have no idea how much dropping a comment on a video like this can help a little channel like mine. And do like and follow for more. But until then, I will see you on the next one.